Bed husband's story begins with Mira, a woman in her late 20s, recounting the experience that forever changed her view on marriage, love, and the complexities of relationships. She speaks in a calm but reflective tone, acknowledging that sometimes the truth is hidden beneath layers of unspoken words and half-hearted gestures. At first glance, Mira's life seemed perfect. She had married Ramesh, a man who seemed to embody the ideal partner, loving, caring, and successful. But soon, things began to unravel. This wasn't the life she had envisioned. As Mira looks back, she realizes the problem wasn't just external, it was deeply rooted within their relationship. Mira's emotional struggle becomes the anchor of this story, a woman trying to understand why the man she once adored had transformed into someone she couldn't recognize. Mira met Ramesh during their college days. He was charming, witty, and ambitious. He had the kind of confidence that drew people to him effortlessly. Their love story was something straight out of a fairy tale. They spent years together, built dreams, and shared a vision for their future. When Ramesh proposed, Mira's heart swelled with joy. She believed this was the beginning of a perfect life. They got married in a small, intimate ceremony surrounded by close friends and family. Life after marriage started on a high note. However, within a few months, the cracks began to show. Ramesh, though still the man she married in many ways, had a side that Mira hadn't anticipated. He was distant, and the emotional connection they had shared seemed to fade into the background of daily routines. Despite his professional success, Ramesh's emotional unavailability started to weigh on Mira. She felt isolated even in her own home, and the joy she once felt in their companionship was being replaced by a hollow silence. As weeks turned into months, Mira found herself yearning for a deeper connection. The man she married wasn't the man she was living with. Ramesh became more engrossed in his work, spending long hours at the office and coming home late at night, too exhausted to engage in conversation. When he was home, there was a palpable distance between them, a silence that grew harder to break with each passing day. Mira, feeling neglected and alone, tried everything she could to revive their bond. She planned special evenings, attempted heartfelt conversations, and even initiated small gestures of love. But Ramesh's responses were lukewarm, often distracted, and occasionally dismissive. The turning point came when Mira discovered that Ramesh had been seeing someone else, someone who had been fulfilling the emotional void that Mira had been desperately trying to fill. This revelation shattered her world. The betrayal wasn't just about the affair, it was about the years of emotional neglect, the growing emptiness that had gone unnoticed for so long.
As she confronted Ramesh, his response was cold, almost indifferent. He apologized, but there was no remorse in his words, no indication that he truly understood the gravity of his actions. For Mira, this was the moment when everything changed. She realized that their marriage, which once felt like a dream, had become a prison of unmet expectations. The turning point came when Mira, in her moment of heartbreak, decided to take control of her life. She left their shared home and moved into a small apartment, determined to rediscover herself. For the first time in years, she focused on her own well-being, her own goals, and her own happiness. During this period of separation, Mira found the strength to face the truth. Her marriage had been built on a foundation of unspoken desires and false expectations. She realized that she had been living for someone else, trying to fulfill a role that was never truly hers. Ramesh, on the other hand, began to see the cracks in his own life. He realized that his emotional distance, his neglect of Mira, and his pursuit of external validation had caused him to lose the one thing he truly cared about. However, he was unsure of how to make amends, and the fear of losing Mira forever pushed him to take a hard look at himself. The story doesn't conclude with a neatly tied bow. Mira and Ramesh meet again after months of separation, each having gone through a process of introspection. Ramesh admits his mistakes and acknowledges the ways in which he failed Mira. However, Mira, now more self-assured and clear-headed, decides that her happiness cannot be dependent on someone else. She chooses to leave the past behind and move forward, either alone or with someone who truly values her. Ramesh, though remorseful, understands that Mira has changed. The person she was before the betrayal no longer exists. He accepts that she deserves more than what he was capable of offering. In the final moments, Mira reflects on her journey. She has come to understand that sometimes love is not enough to sustain a relationship. A marriage, she realizes, requires more than just the presence of a partner. It requires emotional investment, communication, and respect. She shares her journey with the audience, hoping that her story will resonate with others who might find themselves in a similar situation. Mira's words linger in the air. I learned that it's not about finding someone to fill the emptiness, it's about learning to be whole on your own. Only then can you truly know what it means to love and be loved.